for the slight that you have committed. Apologizing for the words you have said, now that's one thing. We can all come to grips with it and say, I'm sorry. But how do we ever in life apologize for the assumed slights that we don't even know about?
You can't, and that's the point of this agreement. This agreement, what he's saying to you folks is, don't assume anything. Because when you start assuming, it's never good.
No.
You never assume this person is doing something good for you. You never assume this person's looking after your best interest. You always assume bad. And you're rarely ever right. That's the tragedy of it. It's like I've told my wife, I said, we would have the perfect marriage if I could just knew what the imagined slights were that I do.
So you could apologize.
So I could apologize and fix them. But it's those assumed things. And every relationship, you guys are sitting there, some of you are out now knowing what I'm talking about. Probably within the last day or two, some of you has assumed something that the other one did or thought or was going to do because of some word taken totally out of context, and you're mad about it. And you know what? The other person don't even know it.
Yeah.
That's the tragedy of it. Agreement 3. Don't assume anything. Don't assume anything. Ask. Have enough gumption about you. If you got a question, ask. It'll be okay. And you'll straighten it out. You'll communicate. And the word will be impeccable.
Yeah.
And those imagined words that you were thinking are no longer there. I think it's time to take another break, and then we'll come back and get to maybe our last row.
I really like the part on the assumption. I've got to the point where I actually apologize for the next day. Whatever it is you assume that I'm going to do tomorrow, I already apologize for it. More with Gary C. Johnson and Simply the Law when we come right back.
Simply the Law with Gary C. Johnson. We'll be back in just a moment.
My name is Dr. Robert Arts. I'm a professor of education and physics. The reason I like Pikeville College is because we all know each other. It's like we've said a lot of times before, no one's just a number. You know, I'm very passionate about what I teach. I enjoy it. That comes through. I mean, if you walking around talking to a student, they can sense that you enjoy what you're doing. They're going to enjoy it as well because they can see that fun and excitement come out.
Experience excellence. Experience opportunity. Experience Pikeville College.
Welcome back to Simply the Law. We just got a couple of minutes left to get the fourth agreement. Gary, for those people saying, now again, what's this program about? I'm getting the feeling this is to make you a better mother, father, child, grandparent, better juror, a better individual, a person, if you're injured, that you can deal with life and be happier. This is...
Nope.
No?
None of the above. Is to make you happier.
Oh. Well, that'll
More
work.
content with life. More at ease with yourself. That's what this program is about, to make you happier and to show you those 4 agreements that I read so many years ago in that book. And you can buy that book, The 4 Agreements, Amazon.com. I would strongly recommend it to any of you that want to read it. But it's inside of you what I'm talking about. It may, as an offshoot of that, you'll be a better person. But you'll be a much happier person if you understand these agreements and try to follow them. Okay, let's get to our last agreement. Back to the computer. As I said, clearly communicate on the making assumptions to avoid misunderstandings. Have the courage to ask questions and to express what you really want. Much sadness and drama will be avoided in your life if you don't make assumptions. It really will. Our last rule. Always do your best. Now, why is this significant? Your best will change as you live life. You may be sick, or you may be healthy. In other words, the best you can do will be what you're able to do at that time in your life. And the reason this is so important is you need to avoid self-judgment and don't expect more out of yourself than you have to give. Avoid regret by knowing every day that you did the best that you could do under your circumstances. Don't measure your best by others. At all costs, avoid self-abuse of yourself. Okay, we're done with this.
You know, this is so good because it really does make sense. I loved basketball, but, you know, at 5'11", I couldn't dunk the ball, never going to. I did whatever I could when I was in high school. What you're pointing out is be happy with who you are and always do your best, whatever that ends up at.
But your best has to be measured by your yardstick, not the yardstick of what others are doing. Once you understand that you're fine just the way you are and you're just exactly the way the Lord made you, or you wouldn't be that way,
Yeah.
then judge what you do based upon what you can do, not what you see others doing. That's the point that he's trying to make. And always do your best, but understand your best may not be what someone else can do.
Gary,
And that's what he's saying.
my friend, thank you so much for the program. The Four Agreements is the book. I hope you enjoyed it. If you get one day that's happier because of this, it's all been worth it. On behalf of Gary C. Johnson, I'm Keith Casebolt. Thank you so much for tuning in to Simply the Law. We look forward to seeing you again next week, right here at this same time.